Hey everybody, Jessica here, and today I have Robin Singh with me from Peepal Farm up in Himachal Pradesh. Hey Robin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Jessica.
For sure. I know here we're having this andhi is coming like a storm is coming, and it looks like you're all good and I'm all good. So we're just going to hope that my curtains don't go flying behind me. But yeah, today we wanted to talk a little bit about what you guys are doing. And not only are you promoting conscious consumerism with the Peepal Farm, you are really helping people to understand the impact of daily choices on the environment with your organic farm, with your animal rescue, and you're a person who's really going against the grain and someone that cares deeply about preserving the Indian legacy of environmental awareness, connection with nature, and nonviolence, ahimsa. So yeah, I want to just discuss some of those things with you today.
Sounds great.
One of the things that I've noticed that there's an awareness of nonviolence in India that people definitely have already within themselves. But what are you guys doing about like taking that to the next level and promoting in people's mentality, trying to get people to be more aware and more conscious?
So, when it comes to that statement, I feel it's kind of a mixed bag because, if you look at it, violence is just always just one step away in India. It's always under the surface. I mean, you can see it in road rage, accidents, whatnot. At the other hand, I mean, with the legal system as poor as it is in India, you don't see a tremendous amount of crime. So that means the moral fabric is still somewhat intact. So what we are trying to do is, I mean, but thing is, as we, as the grip of culture, as our culture is diluting over the period of time, we are losing that. And I think we definitely need that moral fabric. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to get people in touch with what they already know, that it's not just their own pain that matters, but also um, others' pain, which is something they should take in account before uh, before they act on anything, before they do anything. Does that make sense?
For sure. And I feel like a lot of Indians already have this like communal sense of understanding that what I do impacts other people. Whereas, you also lived in the US, like you understand, that maybe not every country actually has that innate understanding. So.
Yeah, definitely. And especially since we are in rural India, we see that a lot compared to the cities here, which are getting more and more Western in every aspect.
More individualistic in many ways.
Yeah.
Got it. So, I mean, so many people are vegetarian in India, and I feel like that's something which people, for a lot of religious reasons or for more like non-violence kind of motivations, a lot of people are vegetarian, or just from tradition, honestly. But how do you think we can shift that to a more environmental focus and getting more people to be more conscious about where their food comes from, and how animal agriculture actually diminishes our environment, and how do we think we can like awaken people to that in India?
I think environment is still a step removed, and any sort of environmental changes I see they will have to come from top down. I don't see those shifts bottom up. If you understand tragedy of the commons, I think that is exactly the case in India with such a large population. There's always this mentality of, well, even if I don't throw my factory's junk in the river, somebody else is going to do it. So why should I inconvenience myself? But when it comes to personal consumption patterns, they can definitely change on an individual level, on a grassroots level, and changes can go bottom up. For example, uh, for like consuming, just consuming less, period, buying less clothes, buying less crap from the mall, eating less meat or quitting meat, or consuming less dairy or not consuming dairy altogether. Now those shifts, I think they're going to happen because in hearts of their heart people know that animals feel pain, and they just need to be reconnected with what they already know. I don't think those changes are going to come because of environmental reasons, because if you look at the way US does dairy and the way India does dairy, it's radically different. I mean, we don't have these cesspools of, like, thousands of tons of cow dung in a slurry. So we
Yeah.
don't have that kind of environmental impact from dairy. Like, not kind, like, it's not that visible
Yeah.
at least.
Sure.
So it's gonna be for a different reason that the consumption patterns are gonna change in India.
I see. I think I that makes total sense to me, and I think that um, it's so hard to motivate people on this very abstract level, right? When it comes to environmental, or when it comes to something that impacts us all globally. And I think you're totally spot on with this idea of, like, मैं कचरा कहाँ डालूं, ये बगल वाली फेंक रही है तो मैं भी फेंकूं. Like, if everyone else is
Right.
throwing it, then why should I go out of the way to do this or do that? So I think you're totally right that it's not going to come from that motivation. Um, the last question I have for the YouTube and YouTube portion of this conversation. So how do you think that veganism, meaning letting people especially give up dairy, um, in India, do you think this is a possibility? Because, I see so many, especially like middle class Hindu people, and even Christians, Muslims, everyone, like dairy is such an important part of your diet. I mean, paneer or chai ki bina matlab reh nahi sakte log. So how do
Yeah.
you see that ever becoming a possibility of people wanting to become more conscious of dairy consumption?
I think it has to be gradual. I mean, change in the next decade, I think we'll be fooling ourselves. So right now, see, it's we like even right now, like we are standing on the shoulders of giants. We have freedom to express these ideas. I mean, there are countries where you can't even talk about this. So in India, we are at a stage where you can express these ideas. Sure, people won't agree with it. So once we have saturated that, once everybody's aware, then there would be the next step, and probably that's for the next generation, then to nudge people towards, like, hey, now you already know that cows get tortured for your consumption, and yet you continue to do it. So this is not lining up. So what are you going to do about it? So it's going to be step by step.
Great point, Robin. Cool. Well, um, if anyone wants to hear more from Robin, check out our full episode. It's on our site. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere where podcasts can be found. So thanks for coming on for this section of the YouTube, and feel free for our listeners to check out the full version and check out Peepal Farm and see what Robin and his team are doing up in Himachal. So thanks so much, Robin.
Hey, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
For sure.